All right.
Hey,
So
Kevin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay. You look very all dressed up. You at
Ah,
work or something?
well, I was gonna do maybe like a short after this or
Hmm.
something.
Okay.
Uh, and I don't know. Yeah, we can talk about it, but like I feel like yeah, the anyway, I think people like to see me wear like a suit or something. Or
It's
that's what I'm
very
feeling.
on brand for
That's
your
what I
app.
mean. On brand, you know? Like I'd rather wear a black t-shirt or something, but like I feel like, I've got the suit, I've had it, so
Hmm. All right. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. You don't mind that this is recorded, right? Like this will be
absolutely.
public.
That's also the other thing is I feel like it's my brand picture.
Mm, yeah. All right. So let's talk about, you know, what you're at. Um, so you created this app or website called Businessworthy, and it's one liner is basically what is your business worth. So you want people to be able to evaluate or learn the value of their business, kind of like Zillow or Kelly Blue Book. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So where'd you come up with this idea? Like when did you think of it, and how did it start?
Sure. So I worked as a tax accountant I was doing taxes as a CPA, and I dealt with a lot of like um, mergers and acquisitions with like very small companies
Mm-hmm.
like a mom and pop kind of store, and they frequently like had an offer come in or something, or they're getting ready to retire, and they really had spent a lot of time thinking about what the actual business is worth.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's definitely like a gap there between the people that are running a lot of these businesses and like, when they get to selling, ultimately it's whatever a buyer will pay you, but
Mm-hmm.
we have like some idea of getting there.
Yeah.
Uh, and the current marketplace, there's like business appraisers, but
Mm-hmm.
they're very expensive and they're very standoffish about like talking about this kind of thing. You
Yeah.
kind of have to pay them $5,000 or something.
Yeah. There's a upfront cost even before you get started.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like a little weird because like in the end they use a lot of formulas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know.
Yeah. I guess they had to pay to go to expensive schools to be certified to use those formulas.
Well, I
um,
know a lot of them, and you can see their negative comments on my project on LinkedIn. So,
yeah, if you face enemies, you're going in the right direction.
I
That's
definitely,
something
I
I've
definitely
learned
triggered
from
people. I
video
triggered
games.
people there or whatever.
Yeah. So right now, there's I I'm not sure if you watched my video, but
Did yeah, I
yeah.
watched the whole thing. I appreciate the feedback. I know I need to work on like the form input, for example.
Hmm. Yeah.
These are things I don't even know because I'm just using it in a different way. You
So
know.
tell me about that. How are you using it?
Um, well, I'm on I've got big monitors here, and I've got like a very small iPhone.
Hmm.
So, like, those are the kind of the two view angles I'm mainly looking at. And I haven't even like tried to like break it. Like, I haven't really done a lot of testing and stuff like that. I mean, it's just kind of been like just run and spit it out. I mean, you've seen the
Mm.
like what Farza was talking about and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, let me just put it out there, put it out there.
Yeah.
So so there's definitely like a lot of rough edges to it. I'm fully aware. So I'm sort of like making like an issue list. I'm not going to like change everything just immediately because time is limited, but
Yeah.
it's very helpful. Um,
I mean, Buzz is right, right? Like you got your page out, and
yeah,
that's how I was able to actually check it out. Like if you just didn't publish it, you just tried to fix all the small mistakes yourself. um, it's not bringing value to anyone yet.
Right.
Yeah. So the current formula you're using is like a multiplier, right? If I'm guessing correctly, it's usually within the zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.6 range, at least for HVAC, not a restaurant, right?
Right. Um, so there's different. I'm pulling from some, um, like there's books on like percentage of sales,
Mm-hmm.
which is like by far like the crudest way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the easiest way to throw something up. But it can vary. I mean, I think like the like a full service local restaurant is more like, was it 0.25, 0.15, yeah, point 15% to 30%. So right now it's just doing like a percentage of sales,
Mm-hmm.
um, based on some numbers that like, are in a like business appraiser book.
Mm-hmm. Um, do you know what type of data that appraisers usually use? Like, do they actually go and look through all the tax forms of the businesses, their transactions, and stuff like that? Because I don't really know the process of that.
Sure. I was gonna say, can I like maybe briefly talk about how like a business appraiser would go about it?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So if we were looking at valuing a business, there would be basically three different approaches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first is going to be like a market based, i.e., like comparable sales. So, like, let's say I've got a unit of a Subway restaurant. I call it a unit. I would go see what did Subway restaurants sell for? What did that franchise unit sell for in, last week or a month ago, or, in a local
Mm-hmm.
region, or maybe the city next over or whatever. So that's one way. So you need like private data. And that's, at least in theory, what is funneling into this percentage of sales is it's like if you're kind of average, like
Mm-hmm.
this should be pretty close. And the more granular we can get, like if it is a Subway, like we can get like really granular about, you know, we, you can see some of that. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
market approach. There's two other approaches. One is like the asset based. So that's like your balance sheet. And that's really not appropriate for almost anyone, because that's more like the liquidation value.
Mm-hmm.
There's a future cash flow. Um, Now, you typically will add some asset value like to the sale. So I think you pointed out in the video, like, yeah, if you own like actual land or some other assets outside of the sort of intangible business, like
Mm-hmm.
that also adds something. But depending on the business, that may or may not be worth a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third is really some sort of like earnings, income, like calculated. And that's, I feel like usually that ends up being like the main number.
Mm-hmm.
And so for this purpose, there would be like maybe two different approaches. Um, One would be like seller's discretionary earnings, and another would be like EBITDA, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but like for the like larger companies, like earnings before income, interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. And then for the smaller companies, seller's discretionary earnings is just like basically what's your net income, and then like take out, like for seller's discretionary earnings, you take out like what you're paid, like
Mm.
all your
Yeah.
compensation,
Mm-hmm.
and then that gets you like, here's the cash flow that's running off the business.
Mm-hmm.
And then EBITDA is like more complicated, but it's like, taking out all this stuff doesn't that someone else would have different.
Yeah. So in the box for annual sales, is that like I was curious about what number that would be. Like, is it total revenue? Is it, profit? Is it, you know?
Yeah, so that'd be like annual sales. When like I first started this, my like first idea is a restaurant, because I feel like restaurants are
Mm-hmm.
like the most like legible kind of business, because
Yeah.
essentially that sales number like is a big driver
Yeah.
of valuation.
It's very
Uh,
clear.
because like for any restaurant, like literally almost any restaurant, you like if you walk out and went to a restaurant right now, like 2/3 of it would be like the the cost of the food and labor. Like
Mm-hmm.
those, they're paying 2/3 of that. They're paying like maybe like 10% or 12% or hopefully less for like occupancy. And there's a few other miscellaneous, and like that's it. Like they're just not that complicated, like
Mm-hmm.
from an accounting perspective. Um, so like really like I have seen like transactions take place where they really just talk about like the revenue of the restaurant, and you're like, wait, but don't you mean I mean the sales of the restaurant? And like, so don't you need to know like the net income? It's like no. I mean that doesn't matter. Like we'll figure it out. You know, like we know you pay your people whatever an hour. You know, food costs this much. I mean like these are all like known costs.
Yeah,
So
it's it's publicly available data, so
yeah, it's sort
it's
of I like
easier.
sort of like semi-public, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in a way. Like if I was buying a Wendy's that was on a popular street, like I could almost like do a traffic count, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I could like kind of sort of have some idea of how many customers they have. I know what they pay their employees. I know what the food costs. Like I could kind of like figure out an income number,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. I actually tried to, determine an income number in the video I saw yesterday, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
I saw that. I
yeah,
was
how much would a restaurant actually make anyways in a year? Um,
yeah, I mean I think like McDonald's is something like 1 million to 1.2.
mhm,
And then like Subway's like maybe 700. No, Subway's I think like 600,000 or something. Wendy's like 800,000,
mhm.
and then like Chick-fil-A is like 2.5 million.
Okay. Chick-fil-A is clearly popular or doing something right.
Right?
Yeah.
So in here, yeah, Chick-fil-A is like I think 60 to 75% or something like that. No, 55 to 75.
Hmm. Um, but all right, so that's where you're at right now. But where do you want to be, like in the future?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
We're all trying to figure out. I built this because I want to help bridge that gap
Mm-hmm.
between like the average business owner and like the complicated finance people that like run all these numbers. Like I can understand a lot of the finance thing, and I feel like I can also talk to the business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, we talked about Zillow and Kelly Blue Book. I mean, they're very interesting examples because like
Mm-hmm.
Zillow, obviously Zillow like is very sophisticated now, but
Yeah.
like basically they started as like sales by square foot or like price per square foot
Mm-hmm.
and just ran with it. And like all the realtors complained and was like, oh no, Zillow's not wrong. Like Zillow, that's not true and all that. And now like it's a starting point. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
taken legitimacy.
It's evolving. Yeah.
It's evolved. And I don't know that like the formula itself is very magic. I think there's just like it's gained a little bit of weight, and then
Mm-hmm.
like people can like accept it, as some measure of value.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be the actual sales price, but it is like some ballpark measure of value.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like right now that like someone who owns a long haul trucking company or an HVAC company like has any idea. I mean, other than the market base, like they'd be like, oh, my like friend sold their business for this,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's a really weird um, information asymmetry because like the private equity firms that like to grab up like small businesses, they definitely have like very well thought out stuff like this.
Yeah. They do all the calculation beforehand. Yeah. Um. So you plan for this app to be mainly aimed at like small businesses and local, I guess. And I was just wondering if you would be working with them or if it's just like a standalone kind of website that anyone can go to.
Yeah, I think I'll do like a standalone. I'm not looking to like get back into like advising people one on
Mm-hmm.
one because that's not really like scalable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've only got so much me, and I don't want to hire people and build a firm and that. Like I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd kind of like to have this. I'd like to have some basic calculations I thought about maybe adding like some resources. Like I'm gonna probably do some videos and things,
Hmm.
and that might also be an angle. Um, you know, like Kelly Blue Book and Zillow are also really great because like they tell you your value, and then it's like, well, how can you improve it, or how
Hmm.
can you maybe how can you have the sale, or how can you do this? So it's a resource as well as just a number.
Hmm. Yeah. So basically, education on, the financial literacy aspect of businesses.
Right.
Hmm. Um, so right now it's a pretty basic website. It's like drag and drop or drop down menus. Um, do you plan on like keeping this kind of setup, or do you want to like integrate some fancy tech into like trying to generate suggestions based on um, what the users type in a search box, for example?
Yeah, I'd love to get more like sophisticated with it.
Hmm.
I'm just like I feel like I have a lot of ideas, and like actually implementing them takes time.
Yeah.
So um, I think right now it's going to be like a calculator, and I might add I'd kind of like to like expand it and maybe put in like the seller's discretionary earnings or something,
Hmm.
because that's what they'll another number you run into.
Hmm.
But probably not a lot right now. I've tried to see like if there's some way like you can use AI to help with this, and I still haven't like quite find that, because like if you ask Chat GPT questions, it's like, oh no, I can't talk about that, or whatever.
Really? I feel like you could probably give it like hypothetical situations.
Yeah,
Like, oh, is someone trying to buy my company? Uh, is this a good number? Um,
I need to try hypotheticals, because I've tried to like dive really deep and be like, okay, like I'm selling a McDonald's franchise, like what is it worth? And they'll be like, like
oh,
I can't.
because yeah, it's kind of like interpreting like the stock market, and OpenAI doesn't want to be giving financial advice. Um,
Right.
yeah, so yeah, but if you say, oh, I'm hypothetically running a local burger shop, right? Then it'll help you.
And maybe yeah, maybe I'm just like missing the wrong hypothetically or whatever in there. But
Hmm. Yeah.
'cause that's another issue with like research.
Hmm.
It's like if you were trying to research something like McDonald's, it's going to tell you the public stock,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of commentary. I mean, there's lots of people that tell you about valuing the public stock or valuing fast food restaurants,
Mm.
but but every day there's people that are like trying to sell a restaurant, and basically they're just not showing up in the Google results. It's very difficult to find.
Mm. Um. So what's your demo day goal?
Well, I have my demo day goal is like 1,000 people come to the website. Because I don't, I right now I don't have like a way. I don't really like track what people are selecting and stuff like that. I don't have any like server side code or anything like that running. It's just a static site.
Hmm.
Um, so I have my demo day goal right now is like to get 1,000 people to the website, and I'm at like 550. So
Oh,
so
that's
it's getting a
yeah.
lot
It's
of
good. Yeah.
visibility, and like a lot of people have liked it on Twitter, and like 1,600 people liked it on LinkedIn, and
Hmm.
or hate liked it, either way.
Yeah. I feel like LinkedIn for small businesses is a lot better of a platform than like something like Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, because I don't know what your Twitter looks like, but my feed is all like a lot of tech people just spouting tips about AI and stuff like that right now. So,
Well, actually, I kind of know like my sort of target demographic is
hmm.
like sort of like 50 to 70, and like generally men, and
Hmm.
like they're actually probably more on Facebook than anywhere
Okay,
else. So like I'm not on Facebook, but like I think if I like
you can
I'm
make one, right?
no, I am.
Yeah.
So like I've been messing. I did the YouTube short, like Farza said, even though Like I don't even watch shorts. I don't
Yeah.
understand it at all. It looks pretty bad. I gotta say, but I'm gonna work on another one of those. And, like I think I might evolve it to like doing some Facebook stuff.
Hmm.
Because I think that's where like that's kind of who I'm targeting is like people that are on like that platform. Maybe I mean it might be like Instagram, might be TikTok. I don't know, but
Hmm.
I'm open to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, not LinkedIn. It's all this. I got all accountants on LinkedIn, so
Okay. They're all mad at you.
they're all mad at me.
Yeah. Well, something about tech is like people love disruption, you know?
Yeah,
That's like innovation.
yeah.
And
I feel like I'm disrupting.
yeah. I mean, if you can bring value for people, then why not?
Yeah.
um, yeah. Yeah, so that's all my prepared questions. Do you have anything you want to talk about or ask me or, talk to about buildspace?
No, I mean I've really enjoyed the build space program, and the building in public aspect
Hmm.
is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, I do see like it's kind of like if you can get feedback quickly, like that's really amazing,
Yeah. And you can improve much, much faster. Yeah.
and not like waste time doing like stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah, Pfizer loves to talk about his menu app. Yeah. Um, actually, how did you hear about Buildspace? Like get into the program?
Yeah, I did a like a Solidity like walkthrough with buildspace, like the Web3 Solidity, like
Like way back in the day, like
yeah, I think this would be like
2020, 2021.
this would
Yeah.
be 20 or 21.
Yeah.
With like the unicorn and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I just I was kind of interested in Web3 and like didn't really understand it all, and it's like, hey, I'll just like do this thing, and so that was really neat to like just check it out. And then
Hmm.
I guess I kept on the mailing list or something because like then I learned about this.
Yeah.
Uh,
You got an email that says apply here and
yeah, yeah, and I like kind of changed, like my career. So because I was doing all this finance stuff, and
hmm.
you know, now I was in a place I was like, yeah, I'd really like to try this and run with it and see if I can do something. So,
So what's your current career right now? Um,
so I'm just like I'm doing freelance web development right now.
oh, okay. Yeah.
So I was a CPA for 8 years and then a financial advisor for four,
Hmm.
which is a really interesting perspective because I got to see like a little bit of multi sides of the same kind of transaction. Because like as an advisor, I saw people's personal finances,
Hmm.
and I mean I got to tell you, Kevin, it was like the weirdest thing to have like a 60-year-old man come in and be like, okay, I've got this like home health care or whatever or restaurant or who knows, and like I don't really know what it's worth, but I'm gonna sell it and then I'm gonna retire off that. And I'm like, wait, no, you should like know what it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah. If
Because
you want to retire off it, I
I went
would
to like
hope you know.
Fraser and like they need to like run numbers and it would take like months and it would cost a lot of money and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's a little wild.
Honestly, a $5,000 charge doesn't sound that expensive for like $1 million business. In all honesty.
But these people don't want to pay that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's better if it's free. So.
And they have no, and they sort of like CPAs, like how do you know, like they have no way of knowing if the appraiser is like a good appraiser.
Yeah.
Just like with attorneys or CPAs or any of these professionals, like how do you know if you have a good tax accountant? Like I could tell you if I looked at your tax return, but like if you don't know like taxes, you don't know who's a good guy or a bad guy,
Hmm.
or not good or bad. I mean like who's really good or who's just like yeah they're okay.
Yeah. You would have to do statistical analysis and hire a bunch of different appraisers to
Yeah,
get.
and it's like yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's like it's sort of a complicated. Yeah, I mean I feel like there's like a real problem.
Hmm. There's a need in the market.
Yeah.
and good for you. You're chasing after that. Um, I well, if there's nothing else, it
Can you
was.
can you tell me a little bit about more about? I mean, I've read about. I know you got a Substack, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
Check that out. I like read. I saw your YouTubes. I
Mhm.
watched YouTube videos. Tell me, can you tell me like a little bit more about what you're doing in Buildspace?
Yeah. So I joined buildspace actually in like November 21. It was, still during COVID, and I was really interested into breaking into the tech industry. Um, but you know, I'm still in college. Like I was in my third year then, and I'm a mechanical engineering major, which is
Oh,
not typically something you see in like a tech job.
right.
So most people are like CS or SE or EE, software, electrical, or computer science. And, I just needed some projects to put under my belt, to kind of demonstrate that I know, how to program and stuff. And then I took off Buildspace for a year, and then I came back, and then I I applied and got into season 2 of Nights and Weekends.
Mhm. And
And during those 6 weeks, I wanted to make a habit tracker app, but a gamified version, kind of, to make, checking things off more fun.
Yeah.
Um, and like the idea is good, but what I had in my mind was kind of difficult for me to implement because I'm not too familiar with like the modern frameworks.
Uh,
Like I know like vanilla, like HTML, CSS, JS, but in a vacuum kind of. So when I'm transitioning to like actually using them on like websites and stuff, they're like, oh, you need a backend of some sort, you need a database, and I use Google Fire. Um, what was it called?
is it Firebase?
Firestore, um, Google Fire Firebase. Yeah.
Fire.
So
Okay.
they provide like various like backend functions such as like authentication and a database, and yeah. So I was pretty like I was pretty into it. And then around week 4ish, I started running into like some hard walls on the programming side, and I made a Twitter very recently at the time, and you know, I, people were like, "Oh, you have a good idea," and then they wouldn't give me any other feedback. Like nobody, I didn't have analytics on my site yet, but I feel like nobody went on my site, and if they did, they didn't tell me about it. Um, So I kind of lost motivation, and I was starting to think about, why I was doing that kind of stuff. Um, and I still graduated from the season 2 because I submitted enough weekly updates, but I'm not like, it doesn't feel like I really like completed it, right? Um, because I didn't get like 10 users, I didn't, grow, iterate. So I came back in season 3, and originally I was going to do like a different app. But then I was like, you know what? That apps didn't work out last time. So I'm gonna like start making content, and we'll see. Like I wanted to express myself more creatively, um, because I have a very creative mind. I like to do a lot of different things, from like art to psychology to engineering to, you know, um, but yeah. So I really didn't know how to gain like traction, like,
Mhm.
because the same thing happened again. I posted in Discord, nobody commented or looked at it, and then I was like, okay, I'm doing something wrong here, and I'm gonna like think about what I can do to get people to connect. right? Because Buzz is like, oh, the first 2 weeks, most people just drop the program, and then around like week 3, 4, 5, that's when you get the real like builders. And started looking at people that were active on Discord and Twitter, but didn't have a lot of feedback.
Hmm.
So people that were actually building, but kind of struggling with the apps or stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna start making reviews. So yeah, I started becoming. I think I've reviewed or became a user of like 25 plus apps right now. Um,
Yeah, I was impressed. I was like, you're putting in the work.
yeah, yeah. Like I want to make sure that other people don't face the same situation that I had to face. And really, like in the 6 weeks, I want to really connect with people, especially since I'm like graduating soon. I'm gonna be looking for opportunities in like whatever fields are available. And you never know the people you'll meet. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was very impressed with how many reviews you've done. I
yeah,
did like I watched mine, and I don't know that I like. I think maybe I like watched a little bit of one and two or something. But like, I mean, you're really checking them out. So
hmm,
I think that's great.
yeah. And in 5, 10 years, if you ever make it, like you built like a complete app or something, and people know, like businessworthy is in on the front page of Google or something.
Oh yeah,
You
let's
you
do
can
it.
come back and look at my videos and be like, this is where I started. This is, what it looked like back in 2023. Um,
You, yeah, you laugh. I do have like there's a guy locally that I know who was looking at breaking into tech, and I was like, we talked about various things, but he hadn't done like a LinkedIn account,
mhm.
and he like anyway he'd come to a meetup and he had like just done the LinkedIn account, and I'm like his follower number like connection number one, and I'm like, man, Nicholas, you have to make it. Like I feel like the initial investor in you,
Mhm.
like like I was there at the ground zero at the beginning. So
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's encouraging to get, first 10 users. And I'm excited to see where a lot of the projects end up.
yeah, and it's fun the way social media works. Like we mentioned Facebook, and I think I probably need to evolve to be on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook. But like my wife posted on Facebook and my sister posted on Facebook, so I'm getting all these like referral links from Facebook, and I'm like I didn't
Uh,
on Facebook.
yeah. They're kind of predatory in a sense, actually.
But it spreads out.
Yeah. Well, any other questions for me? Or
No, did you post this? You posted the video at like 2 a.m. or something?
yeah, I was
If you got sleep?
yeah, so I like drank tea last night kind of late,
Uh,
and there was like some amount of caffeine in it, so I didn't really feel tired. Um, but yeah, my sleep schedule kind of messed up, but I'm, you know, fixing it, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of difficult because there's so many things to do all the time between school and buildspace and stuff like that.
hmm.
And really, the more videos I push out, the more views I get. Um, it's kind of just like YouTube, these like that. But yeah, I'm hoping that to kind of change to these kinds of videos, to where okay, I reviewed your app, and but here's an actual conversation with the creator of the app, and to learn about where the idea came from, and what they want to do with it. It's really helpful to people that are kind of unsure about the idea, or you know, people that are like kind of struggling to start, right? So if they can find someone they can relate to, in any way, like industry or mindset wise or process wise, then they can, you know, check it out and feel more confident in, you know, starting whatever project they have.
Yeah, I mean, this is like incredible for me. So I'm
Yeah,
very grateful.
yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of talk through some of it because I could talk to some people locally, but that only gets me like so far and so
Hmm.
forth.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of yeah. I mean, there's so many good like YouTube like creators out there now. I mean, I'm sure you know many, but I could recommend some people that have just done such a great job with it.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so
A lot of people are buildspace too. They're like making these really elegant videos that are like beautifully cut with like really pretty background, and I'm like, I'm in my room. I'm still in college, so I can't really afford any of that stuff. Um,
but like yeah, I mean like the one person like I followed, um, Tech with Lucy. I don't know if you've heard her, but she does
yeah.
like class. Have you heard of her?
Hmm.
But like hers, she's got nothing in the background.
Yeah, I feel like nothing in the background is better than, you know, a bed, right? Because it's like a work area otherwise. Um, yeah.
Like, she's like living off of it, and there's like nothing in the background. We have
Yeah.
one plant. I'm like, okay.
I mean, at some point, it becomes more about the person and the content rather than, you know, the aesthetics. But starting off, good aesthetics definitely doesn't hurt.
And this recruiter I follow, he does a lot of. I mean, he's at like a conference, and he like has someone film him do like Q&A with like someone at the conference. I was like, wow, this is like amazing. Like I feel like I'm right there. Like someone's
Mm,
asking me about something about recruiters, and then he like gives an answer.
yeah. Unfortunately, I'll still be in school, so I don't think I can go to SF or Dubai for that matter. Um, are you planning to go in person or
I was thinking about it.
okay, keeping your options open?
No, no. I mean, my wife's definitely like, you go. Let's go ahead and buy a ticket. Like, let's do it. You know. But I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, I've got people viewing the website. It's like kind of growing. Like, I'm a little unclear the next step. Like I don't know that it'll look like a much more amazing in 3 more weeks. But
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised.
You might be surprised.
Yeah,
I've definitely had like people follow me on Twitter and stuff, so that's worth something. I mean,
yeah.
and now if I like post stuff, people like reply to it and stuff. It's fun. So
Hmm. Yeah, so people are
yeah,
like engaging, so
I don't. I mean, I don't know like Farza, but like, um, I know like one of his like investors,
mm,
like, personally.
yeah,
Um, so I like know people that know Farza, so to speak. So I kind of like to. I mean, I think I'm gonna probably try to go.
okay,
So, yeah.
yeah. Maybe I'll go for like season 4 or something.
Where
Yeah.
Where are you located?
Hmm?
Where like what city are you in?
I'm in New York, or right
Oh,
now I'm in Philly, but you
oh,
know I'm going to be in New York in the future. So
yeah. And so you've even got a direct flight. I mean,
yeah,
I'm in Memphis, and we don't have any. There's no direct flights. There's direct flights to New York, but
yeah. City airports, major cities. Uh, all right. Well, is that all we have for today?
yeah, that's all I got. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. It
So
was so great hearing about you and your project, and yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of these in the future.
that sounds great.
All right. Thank you and see you. Have a good day.